Good evening. Good evening. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening for the State of the City Address. We're so excited to have you here. This is the very first event at the BFHP Hope Center Community Room. In just a moment, I'll introduce Mayor Jesse Arreguín, and he will give his State of the City. At BFHP, we believe that housing is a human right. Our mission is to ease and end the crisis of homelessness within our community. In partnership with Bridge Housing, the Hope Center and Berkeley Way were developed to provide the single largest infusion of low-income and affordable housing in the history of Berkeley, bringing 97 beds online on the Hope Center side and 89 affordable housing units online for the Bridge side. On the Hope Center side, we have 32 beds dedicated to shelter, 12 transitional beds dedicated to U.S. veterans, and 53 permanent supportive housing units. We also have supportive services, including medical and mental health support. Additionally, our community meal will be moving here on November 14th. We're so excited. Last year, out of our small but mighty Dwight Way kitchen, we served 66,000 meals. Thank you. This year, out of our new beautiful commercial kitchen, which is right over here to my left, we anticipate serving 200,000 meals. Thank you. This meal will be available to everyone living within our side of the building, Bridge's side of the building, and anyone experiencing food insecurity within our community. Again, I cannot express our excitement. You can tell I'm just so excited. We started moving people in 3 weeks ago. On behalf of BFHP's Board of Directors, our incredible and dedicated staff, the clients and residents we just started moving in, I want to express my deepest gratitude to the Mayor of Berkeley, City Council, especially Vice Mayor Harrison, Alameda County, Board Supervisor Keith Carson, as well as our incredible partner, Bridge Housing, and all of our supporters and everyone who works so hard to make this dream a reality. Please give yourself a well-deserved round of applause. BFHP has experienced tremendous growth over the past 3 years. We've expanded now to 7 counties, moving into San Francisco in December. We will be serving more and more clients on an annual basis, and given our geographic expansion, we will be changing our name at the end of this calendar year. But don't worry, at our core, we're still Berkeley Food and Housing Project, just under a different name. I'd like to invite all of you back here in 2 weeks for our official ribbon cutting with our mayor. We will be having a celebration to follow, and I also want to give a special thank you to Sutter Health, who will be sponsoring the event. And now it is my honor to welcome Mayor Jesse Arreguín up here, a friend and partner of BFHP.
Well, good evening, Berkeley. I want to thank my fellow city officials, who I'll recognize very shortly, and my fellow Berkeleyans for being here tonight. And I'm pleased to be here with you in person to update you on the state of our city and to outline our shared challenges and opportunities. And I want to share the excitement that Colleen exuded just a few minutes ago to be here in the newly completed Hope Center in Berkeley Way Apartments, which is a visionary, vertically integrated project to provide a pathway from our streets and into housing. And this project has taken years to achieve, providing 142 new units of affordable housing for families, permanent supportive housing for our formerly homeless neighbors, emergency shelter, a community kitchen and public health clinic, and on-site services, all in one building. And as I've said before, this project is one of my proudest accomplishments in my 18 years of public service here in Berkeley, and I'm proud to celebrate this moment with you here today. So thank you for being here. So before I give my remarks, I want to recognize the many elected officials and city staff here tonight. We are joined by several members of our city council. Councilmember Sophie Hahn, representing District 5. Councilmember Rigel Robinson, representing District 7. And I want to give special recognition to Vice Mayor Kate Harrison for being here tonight. And just a little bit of information. Today's her birthday. So a very happy birthday, Vice Mayor Harrison. And thank you for your incredible service to our city. I also see we're joined by District 3 Councilmember Ben Bartlett as well. Thank you, Councilmember, for joining us tonight. Our City Auditor, Jenny Wong, is also present. Thank you, Madam City Auditor, for being here. And several other elected officials, including Rent Board Commissioner James Chang, Peralta Community College Board of Trustee Vice President Deanna Delphine Polk, and we have our two Deputy City Managers, Paul Budenhagen and LaTanya Bello, here representing the Office of the City Manager. Our newly minted Fire Chief, David Sprague. Thank you for being here also. And the Director of the Department of Health, Housing, and Community Services, Dr. Lisa Varhus. So there are probably many other people that I did not recognize, but just want to thank you all for taking time to be here tonight. So I also want to thank the many community members here in person and also watching on our live stream. And we encourage everyone to not just watch our live stream, but also we're going to post the video to watch the speech after. I want to thank Colleen Egan for that warm introduction, and we're grateful to the Berkeley Food and Housing Project to be a trusted partner with our shared work to ease and to end the crisis of homelessness. And BFHP has served our community since 1970, and even though you may be changing your name, you will always be the Berkeley Food and Housing Project. And it actually started at the University Lutheran Chapel near the university as a free meal program in 1970, is now expanded to serve homeless and low-income clients in 6 counties and growing throughout the San Francisco Bay Area, providing food security, basic needs services, emergency shelter, and permanent supportive housing. And as BFHP says, they believe that everyone has a basic right to food, housing, and stability. The city of Berkeley shares that common goal. And I do believe that this project is one example of the integrated approach that BFHP takes to serving its clients. The last time I was here was actually in early September to get a sneak preview of the building before it actually formally opened. And I'm really happy to announce that the first residents have moved into this building and are now calling this place home after so many years. So let's give that a round of applause for that. This project demonstrates our city's commitment and effort to addressing the twin crises of housing affordability and homelessness, but also how a community vision can become a reality. Close to 20 years ago, and I remember because I was part of those conversations, the city first discussed the potential of building housing, affordable housing, on the former Berkeley Way parking lot. In 2009, thanks to the leadership of Terry Light, the city approved the concept of creating a Hope Center, an integrated multi-service center providing meals, services, and housing for the neediest in our city. Fast forward to today. Yes, things take time, but I do think that this project shows that with a vision, with persistence, and with community support, we can accomplish big things. And the city made the decision that rather than keeping a surface parking lot, housing people was more important than housing cars. And now we have 142 units serving families and formerly homeless persons here in the heart of our city. We can build paradise on a parking lot. And this is just one of several new projects that were made possible thanks to the generosity of our city's voters through the 2018 Measure O Affordable Housing Bond. And over the past 4 years since that time, we've been hard at work to create new affordable homes. We have been able to fund over 800 units of permanently affordable housing in just 4 years. And we'll talk more on that later as we get through the speech. So 3 years ago was the last time that I was able to deliver this address in person, and there was one challenge that no one saw coming. The global pandemic has taken millions of lives and has caused countless businesses to close. Many have lost their jobs. Some have even lost their homes. And the stress and trauma of the pandemic has turned our lives upside down with far-reaching implications that have touched every aspect of our economy, our healthcare system, and even our public safety system. But where many communities faltered in the face of uncertainty, Berkeley faced these perils united, and it shows. And here we are, assembled here today, thanks to the strong support of our community, following science and public health measures, the support of the federal, state, and local government to provide needed economic assistance, we are now rebounding stronger than ever before. And during the first few months of the pandemic, we took action to establish the Berkeley Relief Fund, which provided millions of dollars in emergency assistance to support our small businesses, arts, nonprofits, and housing assistance for our residents who are facing housing insecurity. And since the fund's inception, both public and private dollars, I want to thank all the Berkeley residents that donated so generously to the Berkeley Relief Fund. Along with the funding from the Federal American Rescue Plan, we were able to support over 700 local businesses with millions of dollars of aid. We helped arts and cultural institutions and individual artists. We made an unprecedented effort to keep people in their homes, pausing evictions and providing rental relief. And now unemployment levels have returned to pre-pandemic levels, and tax revenues are continuing to rebound. But sadly, we tragically have lost 68 members of our community due to COVID-19. And I'd like to ask that we take a brief moment of silence to honor their memory. Thank you. We lost members of our community, but today, Berkeley has one of the highest vaccination rates in the United States. 95% of our city's residents are fully vaccinated, and 83% have at least one booster. And we know, starting in September, the new bivalent booster shot became available to anyone aged 12 years and older, providing additional protection against COVID-19 variants. And we encourage everyone to get boosted as soon as possible. We want to be able to get ahead of a potential winter surge. Keeping Berkeley healthy has been instrumental to our city's economic recovery. And it is really an honor to today say that Berkeley is finally open for business again. And once again, for the first time in 3 years, it's just so great to be here in person with you in community to talk about the work that we've done. But we cannot let our guard down. COVID continues to remain a threat, with 26 Californians succumbing to the virus every single day. But I want to thank once again the people of Berkeley for always following science and thinking about everyone in our community, including our most vulnerable. I want to recognize our frontline medical workers, the nurses and doctors who've waged this war with us, our first responders, the brave fire, EMTs, and police, and the thousands of city workers from throughout our city organization who had to step in and lean into roles that they did not sign up for to help manage this emergency response. Throughout these difficult years, I have consistently been inspired by the love, the compassion, and the resilience of our community. And it's made me think about how we have collectively weathered challenges in the past. Berkeley is an incredible city of innovation and social action, but with a long history of resilience. Berkeley saw the largest population growth early on in 1906, after the catastrophic earthquake in San Francisco, when thousands took ferries across the bay here to the East Bay to settle down and make new routes. In 1923, a fire spread through the northern part of our city, all the way to Shattuck Avenue, and many of us remember the 1991 Oakland Berkeley Hills firestorm, which destroyed thousands of homes and took the lives of 21 individuals. We've been through wars. We saved the San Francisco Bay from being filled in to protect this jewel for future generations. We transformed policing, education, housing, and environmental policy. We've sparked national political movements. We've weathered economic challenges, and now we've been through a global pandemic. Through it all, we have come together looked out for each other, and led others. And that is why we not only have survived, but we have also thrived. And in these challenging times, COVID pandemic, rising inflation, war in Europe, threats to democracy at home, I am hopeful. So I am proud to report to you today that the state of our city is strong. Our tax base continues to recover from the pandemic, with our sales tax revenue last year increasing in every single sector. Our unemployment rates are decreasing. We've seen most increases of employment in our tourism and hospitality industries, such as our hotels, our restaurants, our arts sector, the areas that have been most impacted by the pandemic. And our ability to rebound from the pandemic is a testament to the support that we have provided our local businesses and our public's response to getting vaccinated in significant numbers, helping keep our cases low. Berkeley is also a leader in research and development, being home to over 400 businesses in tech, biotech, and STEM industries. In 2021 alone, our startups raised $1.4 billion in financing, and this is funding innovative research that benefits all of us. We have taken action to support our research and development industry by improving zoning to make it easier to grow and retain these businesses in our city. And after decades of inaction, Berkeley is now a regional and statewide leader in addressing the critical shortage of housing, meeting our state-mandated goals for housing production. And then just in 2021 alone, building permits were issued to 659 units, bringing the total number of units permitted in our city to 3,742 units since 2015. We have a new hotel downtown just up the street. I encourage you all to go. The best restaurant and bar view of probably any building in Berkeley. Buy local. And we are rebounding from this pandemic, and we're charting a course for the future. And I want to recognize some historic agreements that we were able to reach with the University of California and Bayer Pharmaceuticals, two of our biggest employers in our city. And these agreements provide millions of dollars annually for enhanced city services and community benefits. With the University of California, I want to recognize Ruben Lizardo, the Director of Local Government Community Relations, who was instrumental in getting that agreement done. $86 million from our agreement with UC Berkeley will be provided over the next 16 years. Funding for city public safety services and capital projects around the campus. The city will begin to receive its parking tax from UC Berkeley. I think we're already beginning to get that from their parking lots. The Chancellor's Fund provides over $300,000 a year to over 20 community organizations annually. But most importantly, this agreement sets a new tone and a collaborative approach to town-gown relations, and I think that's important. Bayer Pharmaceuticals, our largest private employer, we approved an extension of its existing development agreement, providing $33 million to the city over the life of the agreement. And those are programs that are going to support affordable housing, childcare, and services directly in the West Berkeley community. And unfortunately, he's not here, but I just want to take this opportunity to recognize the incredible leadership and partnership of Councilmember Terry Taplin, my partner in those negotiations, who really delivered for his West Berkeley neighbors. And now we will have Bayer and Berkeley bringing 1,000 additional jobs and supporting some innovative bioscience research in the heart of West Berkeley. But we're also committed to creating new jobs, and I want to highlight a piece of legislation that we have introduced called the Hard Hats Ordinance, which is focused on addressing the shortage of skilled and trained workers in our construction industry. This will achieve that by encouraging the use of apprentices and providing healthcare benefits to those people that are building housing and commercial development in our city. But we know that as our city is buzzing back to life, that crime has been on many people's minds. And your safety remains our top priority. Even though crime rates remain at historic lows, we cannot ignore the recent uptick in crime. But we cannot solve 21st century problems with 20th century solutions. And that's why we are working very actively with our police department and city staff and some of the nation's leading experts to modernize our approach to keep our communities safe. You may not know this, but 81% of all calls for service to our police department are for non-criminal issues. And our police officers spend 52% of their time responding to these calls. You would never ask a paramedic to go into a burning building, yet we ask our police to respond to help those who are mentally ill, addicted, and the homeless. We even asked them to break up college parties. I think we can all agree it's probably not the best use of their time. Go Bears. Whether it's a block driveway or a college house party, asking the police to respond to non-criminal matters reduces response times to incidents that genuinely require somebody with a badge and a gun. That makes us all safe. So in the process, we are also increasingly spending more on our public safety services. That's not effective, and I think we can do better. So I'm happy to announce that in June, we began the process of looking at how we can reimagine public safety in Berkeley. And one of those steps involves looking at the creation of a new Department of Community Safety that would coordinate our dispatch, our resource allocation, our operations, and reforms across different public safety sectors, including our police department. This will ensure that alternative responders are dispatched so police resources are better focused on calls for service that require an armed response. And this will have the effect of increasing police response times to crimes in progress and freeing up our officers' times so that we can have more foot and bike patrols, so we can actually get out in the street and build those relationships and deter crime from happening. We know that these efforts do deter crime in the first place. Studies indicate that this approach will eliminate unnecessary encounters that also contribute to racial disparities that we see in arrests, prosecutions, and those that are in our jails. So I am proud that Berkeley is implementing meaningful reforms that are proven and will be shown to be proven to enhance both safety and equity. Police are an essential part of our community safety response, and we must recognize that this isn't the Minority Report. They can't predict the future. Policing is mostly reactive, and the unfortunate reality is that after a crime has occurred, it is really too late. The harm and hurt may have already occurred. There's a victim. Somebody's life may have changed forever. And we know, sadly, there have been some incidents that have happened in our community recently. 2 weeks ago, we lost 2 Berkeley High students to gun violence in our neighboring city of Oakland, and there was a mass shooting that happened on Telegraph Avenue just this weekend. These incidents do send shockwaves throughout our community, and they also highlight that we must expand our definition and approach to safety. Safety is not just how we respond after a crime has occurred, it's how we prepare and prevent crimes from happening in the first place. And that's why, in addition to overseeing the city's reactive responses across all safety departments, this new Department of Community Safety will also be responsible for overseeing proactive efforts like a ceasefire violence intervention program. We've invested $1 million from our city budget in critical services such as violence prevention, youth services, and community mental health. And these are programs that we know are proven to stop violence before it happens. That's how we prevent crime and victimization. That's how we create a healthier, safer Berkeley. And keep our community safe goes beyond just fighting crime, but addressing the underlying causes that result in crime. Mental health, addiction, homelessness are not crimes. These are public health and social issues that can make people feel less safe and that really need to be part of how we define public safety. So look forward to the work that we started and that we will continue in the years ahead. Aside from addressing the issues of today, the city is working to address long-standing challenges and also look to the future. Consistently, residents have prioritized affordable housing and infrastructure as their highest priorities. And thanks to the generosity of our community, we are beginning to make progress in addressing these critical needs. Measure O, which I talked about previously, our 2018 affordable housing bond passed by 77.5% of Berkeley voters, has provided $135 million in bond revenues to help finance the construction and renovation of affordable housing. To date, we've allocated $111 million of that $135 million. Like I said, we've been really busy through 2 rounds of bond distributions. And there are several projects that have already opened. You're sitting in one right now, the Berkeley Way project. And I'm excited that this actually, I think, is the first community event that is had here, and hopefully more to come. But also Jordan Court, which is a senior housing project in North Berkeley, the first affordable housing project in North Berkeley in 30 years. And we have other projects that are under construction. You probably see the cranes and construction sites throughout our city, whether it's the Mondale Shyrick project at 2001 Ashby, the Blake Apartments on San Pablo, many more housing projects to come, and we're excited. I also want to highlight some other projects that we have reserved some funding for. 110 apartments in partnership with the Berkeley Unified School District at the adult school in San Pablo to provide needed housing, workforce housing for our teachers and other school district staff. And then potentially 400 units or more of affordable housing at our Ashby and North Berkeley BART stations. This will in total provide 1,900 low and middle income people the opportunity to live here in our city. Previously, the city could only fund a total of 57 units of affordable housing from the period of 2011 to 2018, with one project in each of those years. Today, the city is on track to have more than 2,000 permanently affordable units, more than double the amount that we had 10 years ago. But our work is not just focused on funding affordable housing, but also many other efforts to address our housing crisis. I'm excited that after several years of community process, we moved ahead with approving zoning in June for our 2 BART sites at Ashby and North Berkeley BART Station to approve a 7-story zoning limit to create new homes at these 2 BART sites that are currently surface parking lots. We approved a joint vision and priorities document and a new agreement with BART that will result in up to 2,400 new homes at these 2 sites. We're actively engaged in negotiations with BART over the future of the Ashby BART Station. We are committed to preserving the Ashby Flea Market in South Berkeley, and we're looking at how we can maximize affordable housing at this site. I do believe that public land should be used for public good. So even though the city has committed $53 million in funding for affordable housing at these 2 BART sites, we want to exceed that number because we think that this is the best opportunity for us to get as much affordable housing as possible in our city. And at Ashby BART, we are looking at how we can advance this project with a reparative framework to address the historic harm that the BART developments had on the South Berkeley community and to promote an equitable reparative approach to how that development occurs going forward. To really achieve the vision of Berkeley for all, we need to address the 3 Ps: production, preservation, and protection. Production, we are working to construct thousands of new units of affordable housing, with 800 of those units being permanently affordable. Preservation, we launched a small sites program. We've been able to help fund 2 exciting projects, one on Solano Avenue, and thank you, Councilor Hahn, for your leadership, and at the McGee Avenue Baptist Church in South Berkeley. And protection. Protection is key to keeping people in their homes. They do not become homeless. We passed an eviction moratorium. Berkeley has some of the strongest tenant protections of any city in California, and we've provided millions of emergency rental assistance to protect people who are living in our community. But we also need to recognize that we need to address historic housing inequities that have existed in our city. I believe that we must affirmatively further fair housing, and we have to end exclusionary zoning. And as a longtime resident of Berkeley, I'm proud of many things. I'm proud that we're the first at many things. I'm not proud that Berkeley in 1916 was the first city to adopt single-family zoning to prevent the construction of a dance hall in the exclusive Elmwood District, to keep people of color out of the Elmwood District. And that is the foundation in which single-family zoning was built on in our city. That doesn't mean that people who live in single-family homes are bad people. It just means that this is, once again, an example of actual state actions to exclude people, low-income people and people of color, from living in parts of our city. If any of you read The Color of Law, it's a really incredible book that sheds a light on these actions, these state actions, actions by real estate to prevent racial exclusion, economic exclusion in neighborhoods throughout the country. So in 2021, last year, we adopted a resolution saying, no, we recognize this harmful past and we're committed to trying to change that. We passed a resolution saying that we are committed to end exclusionary zoning as part of our new housing element update, which we're actively engaged in right now. We're also working to implement new state mandates to plan for 9,000 new homes in our city. And our housing element process is underway. We're looking at rezoning the area near campus, our Southside neighborhood, to allow for hundreds, if not thousands, of new apartments close to campus to address the critical shortage of student housing. We're looking at how we can allow incremental density in our residential neighborhoods, and obviously these BART sites present an enormous opportunity. Addressing our critical housing shortage and expanding opportunity for all, that is our goal, and I really do believe that is the Berkeley way. On addressing homelessness, this year we conducted our biennial point-in-time count. Every 2 years we conduct a count of the number of unhoused people in our community. And I'm proud to say that due to all the efforts that Berkeley's been engaged in, we saw a 5% reduction in our homeless count, while the county has seen a pretty significant increase in their homeless count. I do believe that's due to all of the work that Berkeley is engaged in, from building housing, preventing people from becoming homeless, and all the programs that we've been able to fund and implement through the passage of Measure P. Just a few exciting projects that we did implement. We launched a shelter at 742 Grayson that's provided indoor shelter and services for 50 individuals, many of whom have lived in homeless encampments in our West Berkeley community. And we provided a safe parking site for 40 RVs and vehicles to park safely while they access hygiene services and other supportive services. Thanks to the generosity of the state, Berkeley was one of the few cities in the Bay Area that received money through the state Home Key project. We received $16 million from the state of California to buy the Golden Bear Inn and to provide permanent supportive housing for over 40 people in West Berkeley. And also working with the state, we're working to address dangerous encampments, including that at the Interstate 80 freeway. We worked with the state and with the county to get people off the freeway into temporary housing and permanent housing to not only make it safe for those people that are living there, but safe for everyone. And all this was possible thanks to the generosity of our voters through the passage of Measure P, which has enabled us to fund 16 new programs that provide a wide range of services, from street medicine to expanded shelter, housing subsidies, and really this really transformed our approach to homelessness. Shifting gears to infrastructure, and we're almost done. Infrastructure has also been an issue that voters have consistently ranked as a top priority. And I want to thank Berkeley voters who overwhelmingly approved Measure T1 in 2016. Since 2016, we've allocated $65 million on 40 different projects to improve our infrastructure over the last 5 years. Phase 1, which is now complete, we're able to invest in a wide variety of improvements to improve the daily lives of people throughout our community. Highlights of projects include our renewed North Berkeley Senior Center. If you haven't been there, please go check it out. It's really beautiful. Our Live Oak Community Center, the Adult Mental Health Service Building. We've also invested in our parks, San Pablo Park and the Rose Garden. And we're also looking at how we can renew and rebuild our pier to bring that back as an important recreational amenity for people in our city. We've advanced green infrastructure throughout our city, including improvements to Cordonesis Park. We've rebuilt some of the most deteriorated roads, including University Avenue at the Marina. You do not need an all-terrain vehicle to be able to go on University Avenue now. It's beautiful, it's smooth, and please go and check it out. Phase 2 of Measure T1 is also now beginning, with an additional $60 million to be spent between now and 2026. This will include the creation of the African American Holistic Resource Center, improvements to our fire stations, further upgrades to our South Berkeley Senior Center, the renovations to our Willard Clubhouse, replacing infrastructure at our waterfront, upgrades to Ohlone Park, and with Measure T1, we are not only working to reconstruct and improve our streets, our sidewalks, but also advance our Vision Zero goals to implement bike and pedestrian plan projects, to improve our transit infrastructure, and to make our streets safer for everyone. So a lot of work is underway. And we have exhausted those funds. And we have $1 billion in unfunded infrastructure needs that we have to address. So the need is significant, despite all the great work that we've done. My plans for the future, the next year, is to continue our progress towards building more housing, including creating and preserving affordable housing, to continue Berkeley's regional leadership in addressing homelessness, to improve our infrastructure and fix our waterfront, building on its success as a regional amenity for open space and recreation, not turning it into Disneyland, as some may have suggested. And to continue our efforts to reimagine and enhance public safety, including addressing crime and addressing the threat of wildfire. As highlighted tonight, our city is finally addressing long-standing crises, but we know that we face new global challenges which require us to think about what kind of a future we want to give to future generations. And this year, the future is before us, and we must decide. Is it going to be an affordable and diverse future where we've tackled the high cost of housing and housed the homeless? Or will it be a homogeneous future that further divides our city between the haves and the have-nots, where the price of housing is largely out of the reach for the next generation, and where we have epidemic levels of homelessness that are spiraling out of control? Will we safeguard our future from the perils of climate change, or will lives be lost in the event of a wildfire? Will Berkeley's future be friendly to pedestrians and cyclists with modern parks and roadways, or will we tolerate failing roads and infrastructure, a lack of access to the disabled, and increased pedestrian fatalities? I am incredibly proud of the tremendous progress that we have made as a community over the past 5 years, but I know full well that we have much farther to go. Berkeley has staked out its place in history as a community that stands up for the marginalized and disadvantaged. We not only open our doors to all kinds of people, all creeds and races and religions, we embrace them. We are a sanctuary city. Just like Berkeley embraced me 20 years ago when I came here to attend UC Berkeley. From the civil rights movement to the fires in the 1990s and now a global pandemic, the history of Berkeley is that of a community that has struggled together, that came out stronger. And that is a history that I'm incredibly proud to honor, and a future that I'm excited to work with you to build together. In closing, I want to thank all the people who joined us here tonight in person, those watching from home. Thank you for your time and your support that you've given to our city. And finally, I want to just thank and acknowledge two special guests sitting right here in the front. My parents for their love and support. I was lucky to grow up with parents who didn't always understand my curiosity and commitment. I wasn't out, playing ball. I was reading the newspaper and watching CNN, but embraced and supported it, so thank you. Thank you to the people of Berkeley for electing me as your mayor. Every day I wake up full of hope and in commitment to this incredible city. I'm proud of what we've accomplished. It is honestly the greatest honor of my life to serve this incredible, world-renowned city. I'm proud of what we've been able to accomplish together, some of which we talked about today. There's many more things that we did not talk about, actually, and what we can accomplish together. And I want to leave you with a sense of hope and optimism for the future. We are working to build a better future for Berkeley, and there's more work to do. So thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah. So thank you all for coming. We do have refreshments out here in the patio. You can also enjoy the beautiful outdoor space as part of the Hope Center.